Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. We have been covering the 9 attitudes of mindfulness-based stress reduction. Today's topic is beginner's mind. So, beginner's mind's a great topic, and I think it's one of those that I don't know. I think I have some favorites of the 9 attitudes. Beginner's mind is one of them. I think my say number one is probably non-judging, and beginner's mind. I think beginner's mind is one of my favorites because it's one of them that wasn't obvious to me before I first started practicing. And this attitude of coming towards things as a beginner instead of an expert is something that just doesn't come naturally. Like it feels good to look at things from the point of view of an expert. I feel comfortable feeling like I know all of these things and I'm going to use all of these things that I know for my experience in life. So let me go ahead and read from Full Catastrophe Living. I think it's a really good one, and I'll just have a few comments on that before we begin our meditation. The richness of the present moment experience is the richness of life itself. Too often we let our thinking and our belief about what we know prevent us from seeing things as they really are. We tend to take the ordinary for granted and fail to grasp the extraordinariness of the ordinary. To see the richness of the present moment, we need to cultivate what has been called beginner's mind, a mind that is willing to see everything as if for the first time. This attitude will be particularly important when we engage in our formal meditation practice and whatever practices we might be using, whether it's the body scan or sitting meditation or moving meditation. We can resolve to bring our beginner's mind with us each time we practice so that we can be free of our expectations based on our past experiences. An open beginner's mind allows us to be receptive of the new possibilities and prevents us from getting stuck in the rut of our own expertise, which often thinks it knows more than it does. No moment is the same as any other. Each is unique and contains unique possibilities. Beginner's mind reminds us this simple truth. You might try to cultivate your own beginner's mind in daily life as an experiment. The next time you see somebody who is familiar to you, ask yourself if you are seeing this person with fresh eyes as he or she truly is, or if you are only seeing the reflection of your own thoughts about this person and your feelings as well. Try it with your children, your spouse, friends, and coworkers, and even try it with your dog or cat if you have one. Try it with problems when they arise. Try it when you are outdoors in nature. Are you able to see the sky, the stars, the trees, the water, and the rocks as they are right now with a clear and uncluttered mind? Or are you actually seeing them only through the veil of your own thoughts, opinions, and emotions? So, I think the one real key takeaway is, there are a lot. There's a lot there. So kind of dividing these into our time of practice and our real life experience. Time of practice, I think beginner's mind is critical because one of the things that you will probably notice as you're practicing is that as you pay attention to, say, the breath and breathing, we might kind of go, oh, this is boring. Why am I paying attention to this sensation of breath? And as we explore that with beginner's mind, it becomes a lot less boring and a lot less mundane, and it makes it easier to engage with something that may on the surface seem mundane as we examine the sensation of breath and as we examine all of the physical sensations around it, and there are a lot of them. You might start to notice how rich this present moment experience of examining the breath is, just how much is involved in it. So as we look at it, you can see that there are a lot more parts of the body involved as we do it. And that kind of curiosity as well that comes along with beginner's mind can help us stay engaged with it. And letting go of that expectation of whatever expectation we may have. Maybe the first one is to expect it to be boring. The first time I remember being asked to pay attention to my breath, kind of going, why am I doing this? This seems like a pointless activity. What's the purpose of doing this? And it seems really boring. So is it possible to kind of let go of these attitudes that we may have as we begin, and explore as if it were the very first time that you notice that you're breathing? And as we do that, there's a kind of opening that happens as we examine this with this kind of curiosity. And then in our real daily life, as we examine all of these things, as Jon Kabat-Zinn said, is it when we see someone, are we seeing them for the first time for as they are, or are we allowing all of this baggage and this expectation of who we think they are and who we have known them to be in the past to cloud our idea of what they truly are and who it is that's showing up today? And this is part of why we try to practice with beginner's mind as we're doing the dedicated practice. So as we intend to see our breath, see our bodies, see how the body works with this new, fresh eyes, with this new beginner's mind, we can also see the things around us with beginner's mind. And that practicing allows that process to become more natural and for us to be more open to it. And there was one more thing I wanted to say about practice as well. And as we go through our practice, not only the physical practice itself, like noticing again where exactly it is in the body that it shows up, but also what is the expectation for the practice itself? Am I expecting myself to be more relaxed, calmer? Am I expecting my thoughts to go away? Am I expecting, what is it that I'm expecting practice to be like today? And noticing how that changes the practice itself. And if it's possible to go into our practice without expectations, to open to the present moment, to whatever it is that's going to happen, and allow the present moment to be exactly as it is without trying to manipulate it or change it or to be a certain way, you'll find that the practice is more easeful, and a lot can happen as we just open up to allowing our practice to be as it is and see what happens. You're probably not going to stay focused for the entire practice. Your mind may wander off, and as the mind wanders off, what is it that the mind goes to? What's so interesting that distracts you from the thing that you've intended to do? And I think that's also very interesting, to open towards our distractions even with beginner's mind, and to say, that's interesting. I wonder why my mind went to that thought. I wonder why these emotions are showing up with this thought. And there's so much that you can learn about yourself as you engage with your practice with beginner's mind. And again, non-judging kind of naturally falls in here. So we're opening with beginner's mind, seeing ourselves, seeing our thoughts as if it were for the first time, and also letting go of judgment about those thoughts. Yeah, it's a big book, that's for sure. I'd say don't worry about tackling the whole book, and certainly in one go. There are some good pieces you can walk through first. Okay, let's get into practice. So sit comfortably. So I'm going to go ahead and Roll my shoulders a few times, move my head around, kind of encourage a little bit of relaxation. Kind of notice how nice that feels. That's pleasant. If you like allowing the eyes to close, if you'd prefer to keep your eyes open, just having a soft gaze about 45 degrees downwards. Crown of the head towards the ceiling. Chin roughly parallel to the floor. Shoulders relaxed. Arms relaxed, hands resting in the lap or on the knees. And notice that you're breathing. Notice this breath, this inhalation, this exhalation. Using these physical sensations to ground ourselves in the present moment, to anchor ourselves in the here and now. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling, breathing at your own pace. Examining where in the body you feel the breath. For me, in my practice, my most obvious place where I feel the breath is at the abdomen. Feeling my belly expanding as I breathe in, contracting as I breathe out. I can feel my t-shirt very gently rubbing against the skin of my belly. Can feel a little bit in the lower back, expansion and contraction. My chest is mostly still. I can feel the air moving through my nostrils. Today, my left nostril is a bit clearer. I can feel the inhalation is a bit faster through the left nostril than the right nostril. As I exhale, I can also feel a greater volume of air moving through my left nostril compared with the right nostril. And so as we practice, can we be open to the version of ourselves that's showing up? Maybe today's version is the agitated version, the one that wants to run away from practice. Is it possible to acknowledge, to lovingly welcome that version of ourselves? The anxious me, the depressed me, the insomniac me. Who is it that's here today? Is it possible to roll out the red carpet and welcome the me that's here today? Letting go of our expectations of ourselves. Opening our arms and our hearts to ourselves, just as we are today. The richness of the present moment is the richness of life itself. Open to the here and now. Feel the breath. Allow this communion between ourselves and the external environment to happen. To observe it. To take it in. To see how beautiful this process that we may take for granted, this process of breathing, can really be. In and out. Inhaling, exhaling. Keep it up, you're doing great. See if you can continue having that beginner's mind in each and every moment. Every inhale, a new, fresh experience. Every exhale, new and different from the last. So we've got about 5 more minutes. I'm going to encourage you to, as best you can, keep your mind focused on your breath. And I'll end practice with 3 rings of the bell. Now it's time for us to draw our practice to its natural close. I'll close practice with 3 rings of the bell. Thanks for practicing with me. Here is the kitten. It's not a kitten. This is a large feline. Here, look at the camera. Yeah, Frankie the meditation cat. He's actually, I think he's not the meditation cat, because if he were, then he would stay quiet and wouldn't, well, who knows? Maybe he knows how much time is left, and he meows because he knows the meditation's ending and it's about time. And Frank's good with the plants. He doesn't eat them or anything like that. But yeah, he's okay. He's a good he's a pretty good cat. I mean, it's not I mean, you know what? He's got his little sensitive areas that you don't touch, or he bites a little bit. But that's I think that's most cats. Yeah, cats are regular and no time. So that's part of beginner's mind, right? Can I see my furry friends with beginner's mind as well? Thanks for practicing with me. How'd it go today? Feel free to write in the chat. What was your practice like? Did you notice that it was challenging to stay focused, or was it easy today? Where did your mind go? What did your mind focus on as you were distracted today? For me, I think I'll share. My mind went to social interactions. That I found that I was going to various social interactions and friendships that new friendships that I'm making, and my my feelings and my desires around those friendships. And it was just interesting to see that happening. That was kind of my natural flowing of my mind as I was trying my best to stay focused on my breath. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting because as I reflect on them with my expert mind, I go, oh, these are more of acquaintances. Because they're acquaintances, I'm not that concerned about this friendship. But as I look in my meditation, I see that it's something that occupies my mind, and perhaps more than it would if it was just acquaintances. So, there's depth in there that I think maybe I'm not expecting to see. Oh yeah, spring forward and fall back. That's happening again soon, isn't it? It's going to be like in a few weeks' time, which is crazy to me. I can't believe that it's been 6 months already. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is kind of what happens with Insight Timer these days, is that a lot of times the live meditation kind of breaks up and gets a bit poor. Jean says, my mind drifted to some other practices and the upcoming meditation group that I intend to join. I got an email back from the leader of the group with a welcome message. Thanks, Jean, for sharing. Anything else? Thanks for joining, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Ryan's Daily Mindfulness Circle is the place that you can join if if you want to participate in the meditations that are not like live video meditations like this one. Also to see some write-ups, to read and participate in some chats. I'm continuing this series on the 9 attitudes of MBSR. It's going to be again on this coming Tuesday morning if you're here in the Eastern Hemisphere. If you're in Europe or the Americas or Western Africa, then maybe this will be Monday night for you. We'll be talking about the next topic, which is trust. So each of these topics are not distinct. They're not mutually exclusive. Each topic feeds into the next and feeds into each other. So they're all interconnected. Hope you come back as we talk about trust, as we slowly begin to flow into our MBSR course that's coming up. Thank you, Jean, for hosting those practices on the days that I'm not doing live events. Appreciate that a lot. And do take care, everyone. Let's close practice with sending out our well wishes to ourselves and to each other. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening right now, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all human beings here on this planet, including those yet to be born, wherever they are, whatever their current state is, I wish them all happiness and peace. Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Bye-bye.